Hey everyone, I thought I would make a quick video for all my folk style fans trying to learn a little bit of freestyle. With it being the US Open week, I find no better time to detail the rules of freestyle wrestling than right now. In this video, I'll primarily explain the freestyle rules in a small jam-packed video for you all to enjoy. I hope you all enjoy this video and learn something along the way. If I miss anything, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. But if you enjoy the video, feel free to like and subscribe or check out the TrueTan Wrestling channel. But my name is Tanner and this is TrueTan Wrestling, and now let's talk some freestyle wrestling. The first thing I want to mention to people who do not watch freestyle to keep in mind throughout the whole video, exposure is everything. What does that exactly mean? Well, every time someone rolls on their back or gets put on their back, there will be points scored of the 2 variety or the 4 variety. Now, I know this is normally how it works, but what I mean is even for a half second, not even a count, every time you roll on their back, there will be points scored to one of the athletes. Alrighty, now that huge difference in styles is addressed, let's move on to some more rules which should help explain everything a little bit better. Freestyle is a 6-minute match with 2 3-minute periods. After the first period, you get about a 30-second break where you get to talk to your coaches and get dried off, which honestly, I love that little break to talk to your coaches. It is so interesting to see the adjustment after these breaks, and it's really cool at the highest level to see how they come out of these breaks and interact with their opponent. But moving a little bit into scoring, a tech fall is a 10-point differential, and besides that other glaring difference between a tech fall and folk style and freestyle, I'll keep moving on with the rules. I'll start with the easy one. A takedown in freestyle is exactly how it is in folk style. Once you get the takedown, it results in 2 points scored. However, this is where the style really shifts. Once someone is taken down, the wrestler that got taken down normally goes flat to avoid getting rolled or turned onto their back and giving up more points. If the top wrestler rolls or turns the bottom wrestler, they score 2 points every time they roll on their back. The primary forms of turning are a leg lace or a gut wrench, and yes, in freestyle you can lock your hands in the top position, and yes, that's exactly why the bottom wrestler goes completely flat. So I will do a quick mid-video recap here. A takedown is still 2 points, but any turn from the top position results in 2 additional points, and if there's a 10-point differential, that's a tech fall, match over. So a match could literally last 10 seconds with a takedown and 4 quick roll through turns, and that's 10-0 done. However, the top wrestler cannot turn the bottom wrestler after like 15 seconds or maybe even 10 seconds if they're not really trying to turn. The ref will bring them back up on their feet in neutral. Also, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, in case anyone was wondering, a pin in freestyle is the same in folk style. If you pin someone, it's over, just in case anyone was wondering. Alright, let's just keep moving. Alright, so those are all the 2-point methods of scoring in freestyle. But what are some other ways you can score? Well, if you're the offensive wrestler and you take the other wrestler out of bounds on your feet without just straight pushing them out, you will score a push-out point, which results in 1 point scored towards the offensive wrestler. However, if you run out of bounds, basically fleeing the hold, you will get a caution, and cautions aren't always just 1 point, but normally fleeing the hold results in a caution and 1 point. So if you step out and then get another caution for 1, that will result in 2 points scored, but they are 2 1-pointers. That will come back into the scoring a little bit later. But essentially this caution is a stalling or fleeing the mat or running away, whatever you want to call it. Also, on the topic of cautions, 3 cautions results in a DQ from the match. Wrestlers can essentially get cautions for fleeing the mat, like I said, eye poking too much, being too aggressive, doing an illegal move, or something like that along those lines. And cautions don't always result in points scored either. Alright, now on to the fun 4-pointer. So like I said, exposure is a huge part of this sport. So say you throw someone feet to back or blast double them feet to back or something along those lines, that results in 4 points scored. However, if you were still in neutral and you say hit a front headlock roll and you are on your knees, that will still only be 2. And if you score 2 in neutral and then spin around for a takedown, you only get the 2 points. You don't get 2 for the roll and then 2 for the takedown. Yeah, there's a lot of layers to it, of course, but we also can't forget the infamous but rare 5-point throw, which is most common in Greco, but it can happen in freestyle as well. So it is still feet to back, but if your feet go in an arching motion over the other wrestler that is throwing you, that movement will result in a 5-point move. It is normally clear, but sometimes the refs are a little subjective with it, so you kind of gotta give and take with it. The last major point to mention here, which happens sometimes in the sport, is a reversal. So if you give up a 2-point takedown or 2 points and then reverse the other athlete, you get 1 point, which is clearly a big difference from folk style, but I mean, it kind of makes sense for how the freestyle rules work. The last point to mention is the shot clock rules. Oh boy, here we go. So this is equivalent to stalling in folk style. So the first period in freestyle cannot end 0-0. So during the first period, they will call the less aggressive wrestler with passivity. After 2 of those, you'll get put on the shot clock, which was made to increase scoring and to not end the period in a tie, obviously. So the clock lasts for 30 seconds, and if the least aggressive wrestler that got put on the clock does not score within those 30 seconds, they will give up a point to the other opponent. If the wrestler on the clock scores during this time, the clock stops and they just get the points that they scored. And a new change to the 2022 freestyle rules, if the person who is not on the shot clock scores, they not only get, so let's say they score a takedown, they not only get those 2 points, but they also get the 1-point shot clock for their opponent not scoring. That just changed this year, so if you're watching this in like 2030, sorry, this is dated. I mean, freestyle changes the rules all the time. Now, a key thing to note, in some matches where there's very little scoring, they'll normally put one wrestler on the shot clock in the first period, and then the other wrestler on the shot clock in the second period, which would result in a 1-1 tie. However, there are no ties in freestyle, so let's explain the criteria rules. So I'm going to throw a few examples out there to help people understand criteria who have no idea how freestyle works. So in the last example where it was tied 1-1, the last person to score wins the match. So if you scored your 1 point after the other person, you win. The same is true if it is 2-2 with 2 takedowns in the match, or let's say 2 exposures. However, if the match is 2-2 and the first point scored were a takedown and then you get 2 push-outs, the other wrestler would win because 2 trumps 2 ones, if that makes sense. So essentially the best way to put it is bigger numbers trump the lower numbers. Final example, say it is 8-8. One person has 4 takedowns or 3 takedowns and then a turn, whatever you want to say, but the other person has a 4 and then 2 takedowns or 2 exposures, however you want to look at it. They would win because that 4 trumps all those other 2s. It's a little confusing, especially in those higher scoring matches, but it is a pretty simple way to do it if criteria is the way they want to go. And just like that, we have the rules and scoring of freestyle explained in a very TrueTan wrestling fashion. I try my best to describe it from the lens of someone who has never viewed the style of the sport. I think freestyle is a more interesting style and a little bit more fun just due to the quick scoring. However, there is always some weird rules that causes some controversy and a lot of speculation. But the same is true for NCAA rules, and at least UWW is willing to change these rules mid-season to help out the sport. Overall though, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button or subscribe for more wrestling content coming. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon. Anything over there would be awesome. Plus, we just dropped TrueTan Wrestling merch, so go check that out. All those links are in the description below. But I know some people are strapped for cash, so the least you can do is leave a comment if I missed anything or if you enjoyed this video, or heck, if you have any questions. This is a learning experience together after all. Now, I want to wish you all a great day. Be sure to watch the US Open and Greco, women's freestyle, and freestyle, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.